What's good, my friends? This is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate, rolling on until 7 p.m. today. Full show. College football season kicks off in earnest tomorrow. And it is fantastic to be here with you guys on a hump day edition of the show. YouTube stream is up. Your dander is up because the show that offends you, the show that rocks your world, the show that is a guilty pleasure that you can't help but stay tuned into is in your ear canal. It is Offsides, Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, the Fan Upstate, the place you need to be for college football season, and the one place that pulls no punches and is beholden to no one for our opinions and for our content. My friends, it is fantastic to be here with you. Big thanks to Cole Bryson. Diesel holding down the fort yesterday. Great to have Cole back in town, isn't it? And of course, my friends, we should open with this. Cole is a part of, in my opinion, the best guest lineup in America. Now, it isn't just my opinion. It is an educated opinion, okay? Because when you factor in who we've got on our guest lineup this year, folks, it is a who's who list of fantastic sports media members. Are you ready to hear this? Okay, because we've got a lot of announcements on the show today. We've also got some Furman football tickets to give away. Do not forget, tomorrow on the show, you're going to have a chance to win a Smith & James $100 gift card. Orange you glad you're tuned into us. All right, so here, ladies and gentlemen, right now we present our 2023 football season lineup. All right. We've got from the Carolina Panthers, Jim Szoke. He is the color analyst for the Carolina Panthers. He joins us Monday at 3:40. We've got the Spurs Up Show, Chris Phillips, joining us at 4:40. Cole Bryson, the host of the Saturday Scramble, joins us Mondays at 5:20. Every Tuesday on the show. Every single Tuesday on the show, we, my friends, are going to be joined by none other than Don Munson. Yeah, the voice of the Clemson Tigers joins us at 3:20 p.m. every single Tuesday. We've got Jake Crane of Crane & Company at Tuesdays at 4:20. Wednesday, we are going to have Kelley Ford from K Ford Ratings. My brother is absolutely blowing up with his analytics and projections. He joins us in the next segment. But every Wednesday at 3:20 p.m., Josh Pate joins us each Wednesday at 4:20 p.m., with the exception of today, because he is flying. Because the Every Given Saturday tour this week stops in Utah for Florida and Utah. Don't worry, I got Josh Pate's upset pick to share with you today. We've got new guest, big following, great content, Panthers culture. JJ Hardy, do you know he's an upstate local, upstate native? He joins us every Thursday at 4:40 p.m. We've got Clemson Sports Talk, which is, you know him as Lawton Swan. He joins us Thursday at 5:20 p.m. Then we have the Twitter handle for FU Coach Hendricks, Clay Hendricks, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Joined us yesterday for week 1 because they play on Thursday this week. And then on Friday, we've got Heisman Trophy voter Brent Beard. We've got Cole Bryson on high school football. And we've got Ryan Horvat on the best bets surrounding football to make you some serious money on the weekend. You see what I mean when we said best guest lineup in America? I'll put it up against anybody. Put it up against anybody. Bring the noise, my friends. What do you got? I will put that up against anybody. Also, programming announcement today. The Upset Picks contest debuts in 55 minutes. Debuts in 55 minutes, my friends. Okay? And that is the first upset pick we're going to be charting this year. All right. As a reminder, we will give you all the rules, set the stipulations. You know, we are of the belief, unlike college football, that if it ain't broke, why fix it? We've had a lot of really, really good feedback from the contest that we've had. The upset pick contest, my friends, commences in full force 54 minutes from right now today. That's right. That is right, my friends. That is right. We cannot wait to have you guys be a part of that. Still working through kind of what we're going to do first, second, and third place this year. But the upset pick contest is going to be large and in charge. And I have an absolute doozy of a pick to share with you guys today. Look, I'm going to start out the season 1-0. Last season's performance was a little bit embarrassing to me, a wee bit embarrassing. But if you scroll through all of the games for this week, there are a couple doozies that really, really, really do catch your eye. We'll share our pick with you coming your way today at 4:00 p.m. Make sure you are ready with your upset picks. No picks will be allowed before 4:00 p.m. All right, but once 4 p.m. hits, your picks go live. We share them on the air. And we begin counting the standings immediately.
We had a very important question, Mark, from Dan B yesterday. He called into the show, and he suggested that we have some sort of consistency across the board as far as where we all get our spread numbers from. Because if you get them from the ESPN.com scores page, you might get, a 10.5 point spread. If you get it from another one, you might get a 9.5 point spread, and people may be searching around to find the one that is the most advantageous to them. So he asked the question, what is the official source for these spreads so that everyone is going to the same place to get their spreads?
Yeah, you know what, Diesel? It's a fair question. I am not that, how should I say? I am not that hardcore about that, honestly. What I typically do is I kind of screenshot the spreads on Thursday when we pick. If there's a gross change, I'll do it. If there's like a 0.5 point change, I'll typically, if the guy gets it right, if a listener gets it right, I'll typically give them the extra 0.5 point. I'm really not that overly anal about it, right?
Okay.
And so I understand, people get really, really into this and really, really, really competitive. But I think sometimes, we can lose sight of the fun side of this, which is just, hey, we've got the feel for it. And I think, Diesel, we've seen it before. You and I have seen it, man, where it's like you got the listener that tries to add 2 or 3 points to the upset score. Well, if we see that happening, we'll take those points off of his score.
Ooh.
Yeah. If we see cheating going on, we'll take it off your score, because pretty much, ladies and gentlemen, these scores are within 0.5 point to a point wherever you look at them. Wherever you find them, they're within 0.5 point to a point of one another. All right. Here's how you guys can take part in the show today. You can give us a ring at 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-FAN-FONE. That's 844-326-3663. The CarPro.com text line is there for you at 71307. Just start your text with the word fan, and away you go. And YouTube is large and in charge as well for you today, up on the YouTube feed at the Fan Upstate on YouTube. Diesel, what is the one thing that you are most looking forward to this college football season? I'm really interested to see how the weekly Don Munson interview goes. I am excited to continue to be a part of Kelley Ford's growth. I was joking with Kelley Ford, Diesel, that my claim to fame is I find people right before they blow up and become way bigger than me. That's what happened with Josh Pate. Diesel, the first time Josh Pate was on these airwaves, you might not remember this, Diesel, but when Josh Pate first was on our airwaves, since I've been here, nobody knew who he was. Okay? I just thought he was awesome. He was awesome on the air, but he hadn't caught on with 24/7 Sports yet, right? And he was doing his own college football show as a news reporter in Columbus, Georgia. And as part of his deal with the news station in Columbus, Georgia, he got to host his show in the basement of the news station. there in Columbus, Georgia. And that's the only way he would have stayed on as a news anchor. And so we had Josh Pate on before he blew up. We have Kelley Ford on before he blew up, and now he's absolutely blowing up. The Panthers coverage this year is going to be outstanding. What's the number one thing overall you're looking forward to this year?
Oh, I'm looking forward to chopping it up with Jake Crane week in and week out again. That dude comes with some different perspectives, and he works for a network that allows him, encourages him to bring big opinions, whether it be as a guest on people's show, on his own show, on his social medias. I love bringing Jake Crane on the show. I love chopping it up with Jake.
Yeah, he's a man. He's a ton of fun. He is a spitfire, and honestly, you know, guys, I tip of the cap to all of us, the three of us, right? Diesel, myself, and Jake, because like we really disagree on like 70 to 80% of the topics, but we still shake hands. We still part as friends, which is becoming increasingly rare in our society nowadays. You disagree with somebody, the next thing you know, somebody said something about somebody's mama. And I think that's why Jake respects us. And I know that's one of the many reasons why we respect him, right? So we are very, very, very much looking forward to that. I will say this, Diesel and I, we got these like FU After Dark shirts from Furman, right? Which are really, really stinking cool. And we got them on our chairs, and you guys know we carry Furman football games here at the Fan Upstate. And before the show today, I said to Diesel said to me, you know, like about this shirt, he goes, well, you know, this is hard for me because Furman is still kind of a rival. And I wanted to ask you guys this question because I don't know if you still feel this way, right? But I said, well, wait a minute. What do you mean Furman is still a rival, Diesel? You know, Appalachian State is in the Sun Belt. Furman is in the FCS. You will be at some Furman events this year, Diesel. That is going to happen.
Once a rival, always a rival.
And Diesel said that. Do you guys subscribe to that theory? That would, of course, mean, right, that like if Diesel was a Clemson fan and Carolina drafted or if Diesel was a Gamecock fan and Clemson, can I get this right? If Diesel was a Gamecock fan and Carolina drafted a Clemson player, let's be honest, that never happens, right? They never draft a Clemson player. But that would mean that you don't like the player, even if they're on your NFL team, if they went to your rival school. Do you guys subscribe to that, generally speaking? Once a rival, always a rival? For me, the rivalry business ends conclusively when you're in the NFL, when you become a professional, right? When you become a professional. So,
wait, I never said that I wouldn't cheer for a player who played for a rival team once they make it to the NFL. I never said that.
Well, we typically don't cheer for rivals, Diesel. So you just said once a rival, always a rival.
In college, in context of college sports.
What does the word always mean?
Yeah, but for me, it's in context of college football. Hey, you want to get rid of field goals and banked in three-pointers. Your opinion here is moot.
I do.
You make stuff up all the time.
I do. No, I do want to get up to that, but I think we have a misunderstanding of the word always, what the word always means.
Depends on what your definition of the word is.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, all-encompassing. Always a rival. So what do you guys think? 71307 on the text line. Is it time that Diesel forgives his long-standing grudge against Furman?
Hey, I've been to Furman basketball games. I've been to Furman football games post-graduation. I've gone into VIP areas and eaten Furman's food and drank their beer. Had a great time at Furman's expense.
There you go. Well, they're fantastic. The folks at Furman are freaking fantastic. We love them to death. And we're thrilled that they're a part of us here at the station, whether Diesel wants to consider them once a rival or always a rival or not. I will also say this, guys. We had, and this is, again, one of those awesome experiences that you get to have that I wish you guys got to have alongside with us. Angela and I did a televised cooking show yesterday for Ingalls Markets. And like you learn stuff about yourself, you learn some stuff about your partners all the time, right? I had no idea how Angela was going to be in that environment. None. Like, she's not on camera a lot. She doesn't want to say anything on the radio. She's sweet as can be. But the God's honest answer is that my bonus son, Jackson, has spoken far more words on these airwaves than Angela has. And that's by design. That's on purpose, right? She doesn't want to be on the air. Doesn't mean she doesn't have opinions about what goes on, but she doesn't typically want to be on the air. So I had no idea what to expect yesterday. And, like, we go there and it's like a kitchen that's turned into a TV studio, and they've got all these lights and the lights beat down on you and they're kind of warm. They have cameras. They have moving cameras. Okay. The cameras like move all around you and stuff. Right. And, like these umbrellas, and it's a TV studio kitchen. Right. And for me, it's a miracle the house doesn't burn down anytime I cook something. It's a miracle. So, like, it's like, well, this could be a little hairy. I'm used to being on air. Angela's not. Angela's used to cooking. I am not. I am not used to that. Right? So, like, how are we going to get through this together? And I got to tell you guys, Angela was a freaking rock star. Like, the lights went on, the cameras went on. She had funny quips. She was, kind of dishing it back and forth to me, literally and figuratively. She was awesome. And it's going to be part of the Ingles Table series for the holiday episode. We met some pretty big country artists as well. Joe Lasher, who writes songs for George Strait, and his wife, Caitlin Baker, who I think has like 300,000 Facebook followers. So it was awesome to meet them. They went right after us on the cooking side. We made grandma's gluten-free stuffing, and we made fruitcake surprise, which was everything fruitcake should be and nothing that it isn't. It kind of came out like a cobbler. Blueberries, strawberries, pineapple, yellow cake, whipped cream. Fantastic. Freaking fantastic. Had an awesome experience. We were down in Arden, North Carolina, which I think is a suburb of Asheville. So anyway, learn something new, push yourself, push your boundaries, right? Like, you grow when you get outside of your comfort zone. That's when you grow as people. And the wifey and I grew yesterday, and we grew closer together yesterday. All right, my friends. No upset picks. Hurricane Jeff, shame on you. No upset picks until 4:00 p.m. today. Know the rules. Honor the rules. All right. What do you say? We commence with our lineup for the college football season. We've got Kelley Ford from K Ford Ratings kicking us off today, which is coming your way next. He is inside the numbers of all that is good with college football, and he'll share some of those with you next. We are Offsides, the Fan Upstate. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel. We are the Fan Upstate. Happy football season. One and all. Always appreciate you guys joining us. Listen, man, this guy knows how to market himself, knows how to build a brand. We'll learn something from him right now. Kelley Ford of K Ford Ratings joins us. Kelley, I mentioned to the audience that like a few hours ago, you put out like an ATB, hey, it would be great to get to 10,000 followers on Twitter. By the way, Kelley, 98% of people, I don't know if you'll remember this, Kelley Ford. Are you with us, buddy?
Yes, sir, Marc.
Okay.
I'm here. How we doing?
Great to talk to you. So in January, the head coach of the Gamecocks, Shane Beamer, tried to throw mud on us by saying our account has 8,000 followers, our station account, which despite the fact that 8,000 followers means that you have more than 98.6% of everyone on Twitter. You know, so I'm wondering if when Beamer did that, he's actually slinging mud at his own fan base, right? At the same time,
not sure your stats says what you think it says.
Yeah,
that's I'm saying that to Shane Beamer.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like that also means, Shane, that 98.6% of the people who support you don't have that many followers either. What does that say about them? So anyway, Kelley, like we've noticed that a few hours ago you said, hey man, I'm at 9,600 followers. Would be great to get to 10,000 by football season. And a few hours later, you have 200 more followers. Brother, I can't afford you, but I need your marketing services, sir, as soon as possible, as fast as possible. Congratulations on the impending 10,000 followers that you will hit, which, by the way, Kelley, that number would give you more than 99.9% of all people on Twitter. And yeah, you see that I am absolutely belligerently denying to call it X right now. Yeah, that's me. That's me. So, Kelley, congratulations, man. How are you? Okay. Cannot hear Kelley Ford. We will do our best to get him back at 844-326-3663 right here on the show this afternoon. He can follow, by the way, Kelley Ford at K Ford Ratings on Twitter, which is where you can get to him. And we've got him right now on the show. Kelley, I was saying, I can't afford your marketing services, but I desperately need them, sir.
No, I appreciate it, Marc. I enjoy getting on Twitter. I've literally never asked for followers before, and I felt weird even tweeting this, but I thought, it'd be really cool if we could get to 10,000 by College Football Saturday here in week 1. So I appreciate what you and Diesel do on this show here to help promote me, and it's been fun to grow it, and I'm looking forward to making 2023 the best college football season that I've had on social media so far.
Well, how about this, Kelley? We'll give you the Fan Upstate bump. Everybody in our listening audience who is on Twitter, go find him and follow him at K Ford Ratings on Twitter. Boom. That will get you right there.
That's it.
I appreciate it.
He
guys.
is now 128 followers away from 10,000 for Kelley Ford at K Ford Ratings. Kelley, what is the angriest that a fan has ever been at you?
Man, I don't know if I can just single out one, Marc. There's been a handful. South Carolina fans didn't love me last year with what my numbers were saying about the Gamecocks, and had a great year.
That means though, Kelley, that you're a good human being if that was the case.
Maybe. So they were upset. West Virginia fans got pretty PO'd at me earlier this summer when I put out I don't do subjectivity very often, but I did a podcast and we did, let's tier the Power 5 jobs, head coaching jobs. I had tiers 1 through 5, and West Virginia just barely slipped into tier 5 for me based on, what I'm looking at and how I view it. Well, they certainly didn't like that very much. So that was another one. Fan bases all over the country. When my numbers suggest good things about their team, they love it and they promote it. There are certain fan bases out there who really do that to the nth degree, and I appreciate that and enjoy that. There are others if the numbers don't say what they think they should or what they want them to, they get pretty mad. Texas A&M preseason 2022, I projected 8 wins for the Aggies last year. They thought that was the worst projection ever and told me to trash this model. It's terrible and all that. Well, They only ended up getting 5. I didn't hear from any of them at the end of the year, but at the beginning, they were all pretty ticked off at me. So that's Twitter. I get it. I'll play along for a little bit. If you really start to annoy me, I'll hit that mute button and move on. But other than that, man, it's just, I'm on here to talk college football and have a good time. And that's why I like coming on this show with you guys, because that's exactly what we do.
So, Kelley, this is what baffles me, and it's just like, you never want to like go on Twitter and call people dumb or idiots or anything. But it's like, the political prognostication site 538 has had to deal with this as well in the past. Like on election night, I think they said, like Hillary Clinton was a 73% favorite to win and Donald Trump was 27%. And then Donald Trump wins. And then, like a lot of his supporters were saying, well, cancel 538 because they were wrong. What were they wrong about exactly? They posted the odds 73% to 27%. Yep. I'm sure you get the same garbage every time. You'll have a rating up this week, Kelley, where a team is 63% to win. They won't win. It could be Utah and Florida. And then and I'm a Florida graduate, and you'll have Florida morons hitting you with, you were wrong. No, do you guys understand how percentages work, you idiots? Do you understand how they work? How do you get past that nonsense? I don't have time for that.
Yeah, Mark, that's so good, and you're so right. And I think early on in my Twitter days, or X days now, I guess, I let it bother me more, and I tried to like rationalize and defend it. Say, no, wait, here's what now I just, you know what? People are going to say it. They're going to do it. They don't get it. They don't want to try to understand. So I just let it go and move on. But the way I like to think about this, Mark, honestly, as we're, if I go up on my website right now and I go to the conference championship game and CFP projections, one that draws the ire of many folks right now, I'm projecting Texas with a 16% chance to make the CFP. And I know we talked about Texas at length on this program last year and how the power ratings viewed them versus what their record was. 16% chance for Texas to make the CFP by my numbers. That's 7th best in the entire country. People say there's no way. Texas is always overrated. They're not going to make it. You guys do this every year. You power raters, you people that follow numbers, you're always wrong. Guys, let's flip it around. This is what I try to do with some people. I'm telling you, my numbers say there's an 84% chance they're not going to make it. I agree with you. Texas is most likely not going to make the CFP, but that's just how probabilities work. Almost everybody is unlikely to make the CFP at this stage of the game. So that's one of my favorite examples. You're right. Any individual win game probability you're talking about, 70% chance to win. Okay, they didn't win. 3 out of 10 times, the number said they'd lose. This was one of those 10. The CFP odds, same deal. So I don't know, Mark. It's kind of, water off my back. You just roll with it and move on. But if anyone's genuinely interested in learning about that or going back and forth, I am here for those conversations. That's typically not what happens on Twitter. It's just hey, you were wrong, and they move on, and I do too.
Analytics savant Kelley Ford at K Ford Ratings on Twitter. By the way, one of our P1 listeners, JD Wyatt, said, I just followed him on Twitter. So now you're 127 away from your 10,000 goal. Kelley, obviously we don't have any real data on a vast majority of teams in college football right now, except a handful that have already played in week 0. So this early in the season, how are your ratings set up to account for aging talent? Freshmen who have turned into sophomores, who have turned into juniors and seniors and plus beyond that.
Absolutely. First, I'll just say thanks, JD. I appreciate you following. I'm glad you're a big fan of the Fan Upstate down there, and hopefully you enjoy my stuff. Happy to have you on board here. Yeah, so Diesel, the way that these numbers work in the preseason, we're looking at 3 main components into my power rating model. And for anyone out there who's a fan of Bill Connolly and SP+, these are going to sound very familiar. You're looking at your returning production, you're looking at your recent K Ford ratings, and you're looking at your recent recruiting for every single one of the 133 FBS teams that we have now playing at this level. Returning production specifically, which is what you're asking about, there is some art that needs to be mixed into this science, because you're right. As players grow in their careers, you can expect them to take steps forward, and that's accounted for in the returning production. Another thing that's made returning production calculation more time intensive in recent years is the increased usage of the transfer portal, the one-time free transfer that now is afforded to football student athletes, and the extra COVID year of eligibility. That extra year is still sticking around for some guys that were playing in the 2020 season, and it will for another year still persist in the model. So all of that's happening. You're also making adjustments for transfers. If somebody's transferring from South Carolina State to South Carolina, I'm going to de-weight the production that they're bringing with them because they were performing at the FCS level. Now you're going to not just FBS, but, Power 5 in the SEC. Similarly, if someone's transferring from South Carolina to Coastal Carolina, the production they had at South Carolina, that's going to be upgraded. And I expect them to perform at a higher level at Coastal Carolina, given the difference in projected opponents that you're going to be playing on a week in, week out basis. So all of that's happening at the same time. You got these scalers, these modifiers. You're just trying to track where are the players. That's all the preseason stuff. That's what we're looking at right now for almost every team. 14 FBS teams do have a week 0 data point for their numbers now, but everybody else is still 100% preseason. Once we get going, that kind of gets phased out, de-weighted every single week, and it gets replaced with a much more informative, much more fun, and much more real in-season data. That's what we can really sink our teeth into. That's when we really start finding out what are these teams actually about. Forget the projections. What are they actually in 2023? And we don't know that until we get a little farther into the year.
Kelley, is your goal with what you do, Kelley Ford of thelines.com, joining us here on the Fan Upstate, is your goal to kind of become at one point kind of the Joe Lunardi of college football? You know, that there's a few guys that do what you do. I knew, Kelley, that towards the end of last year, you had really reached a tipping point in a positive way, because on just about every analytics site that I saw that listed the other analytics services, you were mentioned, and I'm like, my guy, Kelley, he's on there. Now that you're on the list with other analytics gurus, why not get to the top of that list? Why not become the Joe Lunardi of college football?
Yeah, no, Mark, I appreciate it. And again, I appreciate everything you and Diesel have done to help me continue to grow the brand, grow the K Ford ratings, and just grow that presence. I mean, definitely. When I started out, I'm really just trying to, look at college football teams, players, conference races, national championship races, just look at it a different way. And it's a way that comes natural to me, given my background and my strengths in, math and sciences and those areas. And I love college football. So it was just a different way to approach it. I will say Bill Connolly and Brian Fremeau, SP Plus and FEI, those are the two godfathers, right? They're the ones that I modeled my stuff after. They've been kind of mentors to me, behind the scenes, DMs, text, meeting up in person even. They've certainly helped me. And ideally, I aspire to be just like them. I aspire to be bigger than them, right? And that's saying a ton. I never expect to actually reach those heights, but that's the goal, right? You want to, people say the Ken Palm of college football. Well, to me, that's Bill, that's Brian. But can I put myself, just in that same vicinity with them? I would absolutely love that, but we have a long way to go before we get to that point. Their numbers are the gold standard, like I said, and I'm thrilled to be, a part of the scene, and wherever it takes me, I'm excited about it.
Kelley, is there a program or two out there that you're looking at right now that you believe has a real chance to outperform where your ratings currently have them and sort of surprise you based on where your ratings have them right now?
Yeah, that's such a good question. And actually, I'm glad you said it. I swear I didn't plant this for the listeners, but South Carolina, this is a team that we've talked about on this show naturally a lot. Okay, so coming into this year, I have South Carolina power rated 36. And South Carolina fans are going to look at that and say, yeah, well, Kelley, last year you ended the year with us number 42, even though we won 8 regular season games, knocked off some really good teams, and your numbers just don't like us. And it's hard for me to argue that, because you're stating facts here, not the fact that I don't like you, but yes, you did finish 42nd. Yes, you did win 8 games. Yes, you did knock off a couple of really good teams. Now coming into this year, I have you power rated 36, which to me, this is potentially the best South Carolina team since 2018, 2014. I mean, this is a really good South Carolina team. They play a tough schedule, which that's going to make it difficult, but I've talked about this before. Kansas State's another program that comes to mind. There are things that the model cannot capture. No model is perfect. That includes mine. That includes Bill's. That includes Brian's. There are things that analytics and math cannot capture about 18 to 22-year-olds playing a sport on Saturdays in front of hundreds of thousands of people with an oblong ball, and they might have a party that they're thinking about the night before, or a big test coming up, or their girlfriend dumped them, or there's all these things. The weather, coaching changes, suspensions. We can't account for everything. South Carolina, this program, Kansas State's another one, they have these synergies and they have these things around the program that you can't put your finger on it. It's intangible, but it feels like everything is pulling in the same direction. Everything's moving in the right direction, the positive direction. And so teams and programs that have that vibe to them, they are going to, on a year in and year out basis, overachieve the expectations that the model has for them. Eventually, the model will catch up, and it almost captures this luck component is what it boils down to, even though it's not luck. It's the best way we can term an intangible thing. It will catch up, and it will start to get credit, but you have to prove it year in and year out. South Carolina is starting to do that. Kansas State has been doing that. So those are two teams that, regardless of where I have them power rated right now, I guess Kansas State is number 21, so a little bit better than South Carolina. They could, at the end of the year, easily be power rated better than where they are currently, or have a record that indicates a team that's stronger than what the model is suggesting of them.
All right, Kelley, I have a couple things I want to get to from you before we end the show and before the season begins, and those things are, can we get your analysis of the biggest games of week one? What do your lines say about the biggest games and how that goes? I think you told us last Thursday or Friday, that Clemson was an 82% favorite. But for this question, more along the lines of the biggest games upcoming of the weekend.
Yep, absolutely. So biggest games this weekend for me, I put out a watchability graphic now every single week, and it's organized by TV time slot. And here this week, everything's a little bit more elongated. But three biggest games. I've got LSU, Florida State. That's got a game score of 96.6 on a 0 to 100 scale. My numbers like LSU in that game by 4. It's neutral site in Orlando, Florida State's backyard. I still like the Tigers by 4 in that game. Marc, you'll like this one, or at least you'll like that it's the game I'm talking about. You might not like my line. I've got Florida at Utah as the number 2 game of the week with a game score of 88.6. My numbers right now like Utah by 7.5. That's assuming a healthy Cam Rising. That's a big question mark. We don't know if that's actually going to be the case. Florida's travel disrupted because of the hurricane coming through. Hopefully everyone's doing all right down in Florida. My sister lives down there, so I've been checking in with her as well. But from a college football standpoint, that's a tough place to go play. Utah, the 2-time reigning Pac-12 champions. It's a revenge game for the Utes, right? The Gators got them in Gainesville last year, so it's going to be a good one. The number 3 game then for me, the fans will probably like this one. It is the neutral site clash in Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina. My numbers do like the Tar Heels by about 3 in that game. It's a 58% win expectancy. So Gamecock fans, I'm saying there's a 4 out of 10 chance just about that you guys are going to be able to pull off this upset. It's a toss-up game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if South Carolina gets out to the win. And I'll keep it going for the fans here. The number 5 game of the week for me is Clemson at Duke. That is a Monday night game, of course, Labor Day all by itself. My numbers like Clemson in that one by about 13.5. So I do make them a healthy favorite, even though they're on the road. I'm very excited to see Cade Klubnik and what he's able to do with this Clemson team this year, a team that I have as the favorite in the ACC and favored in every single game they play, including big games in week 4 against Florida State and week 10 against Notre Dame, both of those at home, which is big time for Clemson.
But you know as well as I do, Kelley, if North Carolina wins, you're going to hear, you told us we were going to lose that game. You said, that's not what he said, ladies and gentlemen. He said 58% win probability. There is a difference. Okay, Kelley, can I get as many numbers for Clemson and South Carolina as you can spit into about a couple of minutes here? Odds of making the CFP, odds of winning the SEC, odds of winning 8 games, 9 games, 10 games. What can you share with us, Clemson and South Carolina?
Absolutely. I'll start real quick. Clemson, number 6 on the CFP Contenders list, 24% chance to make the CFP. For Clemson, if I'm looking at them, a 63% chance to make the ACC championship game. I've got a 7% chance to go 12-0, a 30% chance of 11 wins or more in the regular season, a 60% chance of 10-plus wins, with the most likely record for Clemson this year being exactly that, 10-2. They are favorites in every single game. As I transition now over to South Carolina, I'm pulling it up on my website as we speak. South Carolina, for me, they have a 1% chance to win the SEC East. 3.3 conference games is what I am projecting for the Gamecocks. I have them as a favorite in 5 games this year, projecting 5.8 wins on average. This is an incredibly tough schedule. The number 4 most difficult schedule in the entire country. Most likely record here, 6-6, a 57% chance to go bowling. I've got an 11% chance to reach 8-plus regular season wins and match or exceed last year's. This is a team that overachieved. It's a top 25 offense. I've got concerns about the defense. They're number 64 nationally by my numbers, but there's your quick hitters for both Clemson and South Carolina.
And you said 11% chance to win 8 games.
That's what I have right now.
Ooh, they're not going to like that. That's the one they're not going to like. Yeah.
To be clear, it's 11% to win 8-plus. So that would be 8 or more regular season games.
Okay. But 11, 89 for 90%, 9 out of 10 chance they don't win 8 games or more. Yep. Right. Yep. So, you know, like, again, I remember this last year, Kelley, you and I were having the discussion. You're like, Marc, if that's the expectation that Gamecock fans have, they're cruising for a bruising, and they weren't. So the question is, and I'm not going to say, Kelley, your model was wrong. I'm going to say that, they hit the outlier. There's always going to be outliers. But if they beat the model again, Kelley, then I think you can say South Carolina might be better at any other team at beating my model. If they do the trick a second time, would you agree with that?
Totally fair. Absolutely. And that's aligned with kind of what I was talking about earlier on South Carolina and Clemson and Kansas State. Absolutely agree. That is fair. And I am certainly tracking on that. Don't you worry this year, because I know your fans down there of the Gamecocks are too.
How about that? How about that, my friends? Folks, his name is Kelley Ford. He is with thelines.com, Kelley Ford of thelines.com, and he'll be joining us each and every Wednesday during the college football season at 3:20 p.m. Eastern time. Kelley, continued success to you, my man. Just do me a favor. Do me a favor. You've seen Josh Pate still come on the show even now that he's massive, right? Promise us that you will do the same when you are the Joe Lunardi of college football. I see big things in store for you, brother.
The Fan Upstate has a very special place in my heart. Marc, you and Diesel have done a lot. I appreciate it. And anytime you want me on, you have me. I very much appreciate being a weekly guest on Wednesdays. I even tweeted about it, or posted about it, I guess, on X. I said, hey, I'm going to be on the Fan Upstate every Wednesday with Marc and Diesel here. I'm happy to be the undercard to your main event, which is the commissioner of college football, Josh Pate, coming up a bit later, I know. So always, Marc, I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to a great season of college football. Best of luck to Clemson and South Carolina. I will be watching, as will the numbers.
You got it, buddy. Thank you so much. My boldest prediction of the college football season coming your way next, right here on the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel. We are the Fan Upstate. So I'll hit you with this, my friends. My bold prediction for the start of the college football season is that Clemson is going back to the college football playoff. And I firmly believe that. You heard Kelley Ford say that his numbers have Clemson as a 24% chance to make the CFP. ESPN's Football Power Index says Clemson is a 24.8% chance to make the CFP. And you also heard him say that, look, Clemson is favored in all 12 games. And I think for whatever reason, people have a hard time kind of understanding that. Well, if we're favored in all 12 games, isn't he saying we're going to go 12-0? No. Because each game you have a percentage chance of losing that is less than 50%, right? And by way of something called binomial probability, when you put in all those 23% chances of losing, 41% chances of losing, 9% chances of losing, they ultimately do give you some losses when you play 12 games, even if you are favored to win in all 12 of those games. I think Clemson's most likely record this year is 11-1, okay? I don't think they lose at home to Florida State. I think they could lose at home to Notre Dame. They could drop one on the road at NC State, at Miami, potentially even at South Carolina. Okay, but I think Clemson's most likely record is 11-1. Then a win in the ACC championship game gets them to the college football playoff. Sam Hartman and Notre Dame, folks, they look like the real deal. Suddenly that game looks a hell of a lot more losable than it did before. Right? But Clemson as a 24.8% chance to make the college football playoff. I like the schedule. I like the offensive coordinator. I like adjustments Dabo has made. Had a chance to sit down and interview Cade Klubnik at the ACC kickoff. I love what he's about. I love the raw ability. The question is, can he put it all together? My friends, when the clock hits 4 o'clock, your upset picks can begin raining down on all of us. That is next. And this is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate. It's the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate, rolling on until 7 o'clock p.m. We have waited all offseason for this. And now, my friends, the moment is here. We are here to unveil the 2023. What a great feeling this is, man. What a great feeling. You guys blowing us up is always welcome, but the tremendous feeling that we have each year to unveil the Upset Picks contest. All right, here is what you need to do. The contest begins today. Josh Pate's Upset Pick is already in. You may get your picks in today, tomorrow, or Friday. I would highly recommend you do so today. Why? Because you're going to forget, and then you're going to be out. You're going to be SOL when Friday comes and Friday goes. You're thinking about it right now. You're hearing it right now. Get your upset picks in. So here's how this works, my friend. All right. If you are new to this contest that we do every single year, if you are new to this little game that we play, what you do is you pick an upset in college football. Okay. You look at the games, you say, what underdog do I actually think is going to win? Then you text into the show on the carpro.com text line, or you give us a call at 844-326-3663. All right? If your underdog team wins the game over the weekend that you think they will, you get the number of points that they were an underdog added to your score. So, for example, Utah is a 6-point favorite over Florida. If I take Florida and Florida pulls the upset, I get 6 points in the upset pick standings. Okay? 6 full points. If you can only pick games that are at least a 3-point spread. So North Carolina and South Carolina is ineligible because it's 2.5. Florida State and LSU ineligible because it's 2.5, right? You got to have at least a 3-point spread that counts towards that, okay? So that is how you pick. We keep these standings up to date during the week. Each and every week, we give you new and updated standings, right? We pick new games each and every Wednesday on this show, and we open it up to you in all of the different ways to get a hold of us. 844-326-3663 and the carpro.com text line, which is yours at 71307. Just start your text with the word fan, and away you go on the show. Already waiting to lead us off is our guy Delvin from Fountain Inn. Delvin, congratulations, my friend. Welcome. I think, Delvin, rumor has it that you mean business this year, my friend.
Yeah. I want to do a segment with you guys, man, because you guys are so fun and stuff, and I like watching y'all on YouTube and stuff and listen to you guys. So
Thank you so much. Awesome, man. Awesome.
That's my goal. And with that in mind, give me Nebraska -7 on the road at Minnesota, because Minnesota don't lost their starting quarterback and Abraham at running back. And Matt Rule is not a good NFL coach. He's not a good NFL coach, but he's known for turning programs around.
So Delvin is going Minnesota +7 over Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I'm sorry, Nebraska.
Yeah,
I got you. I just misspoke, Delvin. I saw that earlier today. Nebraska +7 over Minnesota. Yeah, you saw that and you're like, wait a minute. Nebraska has better athletes than Minnesota, right? They're an underdog by 7 points. Really? That is really saying something. But to the points you mentioned, no starting quarterback. Running back is out. There you go, Delvin. Outstanding pick. What is your do you have any tips for anybody listening, Delvin, on how to do well in this? You've done very, very well in seasons past.
One of the things I look at key injuries, what kind of injuries is that, and I look at the way you play the following week. What was how you played? Like if you played good, yeah, you played good, but did you really play good, or did you struggle at times? I try to see, is there consistency each week with each team?
There you go. Delvin, are you on Twitter by chance?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
What's your Twitter?
At Devin Beagle. No, yeah, I think it's at Beagle Devin.
Well, make sure you follow us if you don't already, okay?
Okay, I will.
All right. There you go, folks. Delvin's picks are in, leading us off with the upset pick and upset pick challenge. Let's see what you guys are saying. Boy, these are coming in fast and furious. Fast and furious, these are coming in. Okay. Let's see here. Texter says, my upset pick, Marc Ryan wins the upset pick challenge. Scotty from BMW. Scotty, I appreciate the fact that you have, you work in comedy, but if you pay attention to this, this is not something I'm very good at. In fairness to me, it's not the only one where that's the case. Josh Pate, in my opinion, has the best college football show in America, and he doesn't always do well in this, right? Spur Daddy says Northern Illinois over Boston College, getting 8.5 points. Brandon Burnett, South Alabama over Tulane, 6.5 point underdog. Hurricane Jeff says, I think Boise State. Listen, look at this. Look at the lead this will give Hurricane Jeff to start the year. Boise State upsets Washington. Washington is favored by 14 points. Mongo goes, give me Florida over Utah. So, guys, a little reminder of the rules. Here's what we need. We need you to text in your name, your game, and the spread. Okay? So, Mongo has his name. He's got Florida over Utah. He does not have the spread listed. Also, please make sure you start your text with the word fan. Okay? So we can see it on our text screen. So your text will read like Tyler B did it perfectly here. Fan, Bowling Green over Liberty, minus 9.5, Tyler B. That is perfect. Perfect, my friend. Brandon Keeler says, week 1 upset. Hawaii upset Stanford 35-31. Brandon, what is the line on that game? Will G says Colorado over TCU. TCU favored by 20.5 points. So this is getting really funny. Really, really funny, man. Really funny.
Oh, I finally saw that Deion Sanders documentary, the Braves doc, about him playing both Major League Baseball and NFL football on the same day. Great documentary. I love Deion Sanders. I love Deion. I like him even more watching that doc. And he comes across as an arrogant jerk, and I like him even more.
You know what, Diesel? You know when you wouldn't like him? Is if you were one of those Colorado players on scholarship. And Diesel, he was inviting them to leave when he gave his pregame speech and when he was first hired and speaking to the team. What we didn't yet know at the time was he was actually going to be kicking guys off of the team. Not for disciplinary reasons, but because he didn't want them. And there was an offensive lineman who came out and spoke, and he said, what Deion said to me was, you might have a future in college football, but it ain't here. That's what he said. So he's kicking guys that is apparently he found out that that's not illegal to do, Diesel, that they're not financially strapped and tied to those players.
Yeah.
But it's considered really against protocol to do that.
Yeah. You don't want to be the guy that's canceling somebody's scholarship when he's already signed on the dotted line.
Signed on the dotted line. You
but
may
he
have
doesn't
a
care.
future, but it's not here. It's not. It's not here. Let's see here. Stanford favored by 4 over Hawaii. Who is that from? Madcraft says Boise State plus 14 over Washington. Madcraft followed instructions perfectly. We have your name, we have your game, and we have your spread all in one spot. Let's see here. Florida over Utah plus 4. Florida plus 4.5. So says Mongo.
How is this possible that Stanford is only a 3.5 point favorite over Hawaii, who lost to Vanderbilt?
Because
has Stanford fallen that far?
This ties into my upset pick momentarily. They've fallen that far, Diesel, and it's like the nomad status. Remember a couple of years ago, the Raiders sucked and they didn't have a home, and it's like they're stuck in Oakland, but everyone knows they're going to move, and there was just no energy for their home games.
Sure.
And they sucked. I think that's what you're going to see with the Pac-12 this year, especially teams that don't have a chance to do anything anyway. You're going to see it's just where are we? Where are we going? Nomad status. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a rip. Vanderbilt isn't that great. Hawaii isn't as bad as people think. That is a very interesting point. But then again, Brandon Keeler is a Hawaii fan. So, you typically don't do well picking your homer team.
He's picking with his heart. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Diesel.
Yeah.
It is that time, my friend.
Ready.
What do you have for us, Diesel, in your first upset pick of the year. I have one that nobody has mentioned yet.
Well, I thought very hard about breaking Madcraft's heart and picking Miami of Ohio over Miami of Florida. But I'm not that dumb.
The battle for the real Miami.
Yeah, I'm not that dumb. I mean, that's a 16.5 point spread, plus 16.5 for Miami of Ohio. They're not going to beat Miami. I did look very hard at two games, though. Two games that I like a lot. Northern Illinois, plus 8.5 at Boston College. Both of them have lost 4 of their last 5 games to end the season last year. Weird things could happen. UNI could win that game. But I feel better because I've seen them play, and they were hot to end the season last year, and they got a lot of talent back this year. They're projected to perform better than they have in the conference in a long, long time. I'm taking South Alabama plus 6.5 at Tulane. I'm pulling for my Sunbelt brethren to do it. I made a lot of hay 2 years ago picking group of 5 games. I got away from that last year, and it cost me.
Here we go, Diesel. Here we go. Are you guys ready? Starting out the season with a bang. All right. Not a single soul has picked my game just yet. My pick of the week has a 25% chance, according to ESPN's FPI, for winning. They are the home team in this game. They are an underdog by 7 points, but they are facing the aforementioned one of the homeless, nomad Pac-12 teams traveling on the road, change of time zone as well in this game. Diesel, I'm shocked you didn't pick this one because this is one of your all-time favorite. Like, this is when your chest hair pops out of your shirt when games like this happen. Give me, my friends. Oh, yeah, they're feeling mean. The Mean Green of North Texas at home over Cal.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They're at home over Cal. Why the hell did Cal agree to go there? Do they not understand that's not how this works?
It's Dallas. It's Dallas. That's why they chose to go there. They want recruits out of Dallas.
You don't go on the road to play a group of 5 teams. No Power 5 team does that. But Cal did, and they could wear the L. As a result, I've got Cal going to North Texas as a homeless nomad awaiting a new home. And unless that news drops between now and Saturday that they're officially part of the ACC, I don't know. Could be a dreary flight back. North Texas, one of the more underrated group of 5 teams for me this year. That's where I'm going, my friends. That's where I'm going.
I do like that. That is a good pick, Mark. I didn't see that one. That's a good one. You could have even gone Washington State on the road at Colorado State.
Thought about it.
Washington State's an 11-point favorite in that game.
Thought about it. Yeah.
Same reasoning.
Yeah, and you know, like I look at this, and you know, Cal to me, Washington State to me is kind of like a nothing burger, right? They're going to be playing at home in Denton, Texas, right? They've got a new head coach, Eric Morris. They're now in a new era in the American Athletic Conference, so they're moving on up. But look, the Golden Bears, you know, again, you have every time in your life, do you sleep well at night when you have all this uncertainty? Who am I going to be dating? Where am I going to be working? Where is my next meal going to come from? Cal doesn't have answers for any of that, right? Plus, you've got Justin Wilcox at Cal on the hot seat in this one. So, friends, this is so fun to talk about, isn't it? It's like you get to find your needle in a haystack. And let's be honest, we all like to feel like the smartest guy in the room, right? What contest better gives you a chance to feel like the smartest guy in the room? What opportunity gives you a better, what contest ever gives you a better chance to do this than what we're telling you right now? It's our upset picks contest, my friends. The first, second, and third place finishers in our little game will, you will be awarded. We will make it worth your while is what we will say. All right. So we're in the process of figuring all that stuff out. You guys can get your upset picks in. Diesel, refresh me as to the rules here. If somebody has scored and then they fail to pick a game.
We did -2 points last year for failing to pick.
Last year.
If you get it wrong, you lose a point. If you fail to make a pick, you lose 2 points. Now, this is not a bad idea here for you guys. When you make your pick, take a screenshot, especially if there's a date, a timestamp attached to it, because every now and again, a pick gets missed, and Marc may accidentally take 2 points away from you. But if you're like, no, I texted it in, I followed the rules. See, here you go. I'll go back and fix it.
Most certainly will. Most certainly will, my friends, especially if you get it in. What we will not do, though, if you don't put fan in your text, we're not going to see it, okay? So you got to make sure that the word fan, F-A-N, is the first word of your text to the show. You can always, of course, call in with your upset pick, okay? That makes sure that we have it. It makes sure that we've got it written down, all right? I've got North Texas over Cal. Feel very, 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 very good about that one. What say you guys? Logan Simpson says Boise State over Washington, -14. I think Michael Penix Jr. is too good. He's too good. Michigan J. Todd is going with me. Traditionally not a smart strategy, Michigan J. Todd, and you've won this before. North Texas over Cal by 7. Sherb is same strategy. Smart guys. Toledo +9.5 over Illinois. Texter says, very reminiscent of the Gamecocks going to UCF. I haven't been that nervous about a ball game in a very, very, very long time. John G. going the aforementioned Colorado State over Washington State. Let's see here. And Northern Illinois versus BC spread dropped to Northern Illinois +8.5, but I'll still take it. So says Shannon Burke. Akron +9.5 points over Temple. Diesel, Hawaii has a high-powered offense now. They run the run-and-shoot offense. Let's see here. Matt.
Was that from Brandon?
Yeah.
Keeler?
It was. Okay. Yeah, it was. What are you trying to say? You don't buy it?
I'm just saying, Brandon, you got some green-colored sunglasses on there,
he
does.
Friend. He does. Am I getting the name right here, Texter? Is it Matt Scott? Matt Scott, North Texas over California for 7 points. Did I get the name right there, Matt? Matt Scott, North Texas over California for 7 points. Keel from Pennsylvania says, give me West Virginia over Penn State as a 20-point underdog. Even if the season would be over for the Lions already, I will have the lead in the upstate competition. But you are a Penn State fan, Keel. How could you possibly do this? How could you possibly make this mistake? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Let's see here. Do we lose points for not picking correctly? When do we enter our picks each week? You enter your picks now. Now you enter your picks, okay? The beautiful thing about this, guys, is you lose 1 point when you pick incorrectly, okay? You lose 2 points if you fail to pick. But the beautiful thing about this is we're going to have somebody this year that hit, I think, like our biggest upset last year was like 23 points. So somebody at some point, even if they missed like the first 2 or 3 weeks of picks, could hit a 23-point upset and vault to the top of the standings. You have roughly 13 weeks of picks, right? So you have about 13 games that you're picking over the course of the year. Traditionally, Diesel, our winner, will have about 50 points, right? So you average, to win this contest, you average about 4 points a week, okay? About 4 points a week is what gets you the crown. But you know as well as I do, you could not pick for 6 weeks, then hit a 24-point upset and have the same average point total. See what I'm saying? So make your picks now. Do not wait. Procrastination is a lot like masturbation. It feels good until you realize you're screwing yourself. Do not procrastinate. Get your picks in right now. We keep it rolling on the phones, and we've got Rich in Chicago. National listener, local show. Rich, welcome to the Upset Pick Contest that is sweeping the upstate of South Carolina. And even though you're in Chicago, you're more than welcome here, my friend. What's good?
I tried to text it in, and I was telling Diesel I'm not Bill Gates, and I couldn't execute it. So I'm going to give it to you, and then I'll figure it out in terms of how I transfer it. But this one probably will not be picked by anybody. But, I'd go for the enchilada. And I'm taking Old Dominion plus 16 at Virginia Tech.
They've already beaten Virginia Tech in the past.
That's why I'm taking the 16.
Coach Fry at Virginia Tech is not off to a great start. Former defensive coordinator at Penn State, had a bad first year. Old Dominion's already won this game, and we'll see if they can do the trick. Why do you feel good about it?
They are a power. I love obscure power teams like Tulane, Old Dominion, Texas San Antonio. Being a handicapper and making a few wagers, these are the teams that Vegas ignores and the public ignores. And I think it's easy money when you can identify, a non-Power 5 team that can compete with anybody.
Good man, Chicago.
And the other thing I was going to just throw in there, I'm not trying to embarrass you, but I told Diesel this to give him a little plug. When you look at the non-Power 5 teams, you had mentioned they do not go on the road.
Yeah.
Well, the App State boys hosted Miami, North Carolina, and Wake Forest in the last 2-3 years.
No, look, I understand that. I'm not speaking that, Rich, in terms of absolutes, but traditionally speaking, they try to do this
He's just donning his Homer hat right now.
Yeah, they try to do the 2-1. You
Exactly.
play at the Power 5 team twice. The Power 5 team goes on the road once. That's what they try to do. But I know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, but most of these guys don't have a home and home agreement, obviously, because of their facilities. Typically, if you have a non-Power 5 team, they play in the Power 5's home field, and it's usually a one-game gig. They don't do home and home because they don't have the facilities to handle a big crowd. I was kind of surprised that Miami, especially Miami, would be willing to go to Boone, and that was a surprise. North Carolina, you could argue an in-state rivalry. That makes a little bit of sense. And I guess now with all the seating on the berm at App State, you can probably get close to 30,000 people. That seems like a small payday when you got a stadium that holds 65. But I guess they make it interesting enough to go play there. But anyway, if I can figure out the text, Old Dominion, and just so you know, they are loaded this year too. They are somebody that never pays attention to, and I think Virginia Tech is way, way down and are going to struggle. And I think catching them early before they can get organized is ripe for an upset. Now, 16 is a big number, but I don't think you win this thing. And I wanted to ask you, what do you get the home version of Offsides if you win it?
What does that mean? What does that mean?
The prize.
The board game.
You get the home version.
It was like what they used to give away on game shows and things, like the home version of The Price is Right.
There you go. I see I'm catching what you're putting down. Finally, I needed Diesel's help.
You didn't lay out there what you win if you win the whole thing.
Well, we're figuring that out. We're figuring that out right now, Rich. But thank you so much for the call, buddy. I do really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, he's got a good strategy there. That was my strategy 2 years ago, was try to find these under the radar, good group of 5 teams that are sitting there in that, 5, 6, 7 point dog range to some middle of pack Power 5s and against other good group of 5 programs once they get into conference play. And it worked for me. It worked well for me a few years ago. And to Rich's other point, it seems that the ACC for a couple of years has had a policy that is more open to playing on the road at regional group of 5s. North Carolina, I think, played a game at Old Dominion. They played a game at Georgia State. Obviously, Virginia Tech's got this home and home with Old Dominion. Other conferences haven't really shown that willingness. The SEC doesn't do it. The Big Ten doesn't do it. Don't know much about the Big 12 in that sense, whether or not they've done it in the past, but obviously Pac-12 teams are doing it right now this year. So, but they're not really going to regional teams. It's not like Cal is going to Fresno State. Cal is going to, North Texas to play in Dallas, which is smart. It's smart on a recruiting basis.
Up next, Clemson needs to step up their game in this key area. We'll tell you what that is when Offsides continues. We are the Fan Upstate. It's Offsides, Marc, Ryan, and Diesel. We are the Fan Upstate. Your upset pick contest is now live. You guys can chime in and take part in all of the above by hitting us. We heard Rich in Chicago needed a little primer on how to do that. Here's what you do. You open up your smartphone. You go to the text screen, okay? Where you put in the number that you are texting to, you put in 71307. Okay, you have the word fan be the first word of your text. Okay, so in the text screen, you write fan, F-A-N. Then you give us your name, your game, and the point spread. So let's see here. Let's see who did it right. Boy, not a lot of you guys are doing this right. Brandon Gibson did it right. He says, fan, give me Fresno State plus 3.5 over Purdue. Brandon Gibson. That's what you do. All right, and then you just hit send. We get it on our screen. Make sure that fan is the first word of your text. So, guys, Clemson really needs to step its game up in this area. All right, and that is making Death Valley truly an intimidating place to play. It isn't at all. It's just not an intimidating place to play right now. It's not because the team hasn't been great, okay? It's entirely because of the environment that the Clemson fans have set or they haven't set at these games. I was at 2 different Clemson games last year, sitting in the press box, and what jumped off the page to me was the laissez-faire attitude there. It was just another ho-hum, walk in the park, stroll through another all-cupcakes conference opponent, and guys, you've heard me say this, and every time I try to poke the bear, there's a reason why I'm doing it, okay? LSU has the real Death Valley, period. LSU has the real Death Valley because it's actually intimidating to play there. Like, it's not a fun experience if you are a visiting team. You're actually worried for your safety some of the time. I've been to LSU. I was on the bus that the band was in. And they rocked our bus back and forth. They mooned our bus going in. When they beat us and tore down the goalpost, and I was there, they tried to ram the goalpost, old knight style, like medieval knights with a jousting of another horse. They tried to ram the goalpost into the band. I also, at LSU, saving the best for last year, got a cup of bodily fluid dumped on my head. It was readily apparent, American Pie style, that what was dumped on my head was not water, and it was not beer. All right? Those people don't necessarily go to the restrooms. They go to the restroom in the stands. That is Death Valley. You go there to die. Okay? Now, I'm not saying necessarily that all of those things is what you want your university to be, but it's a little nice. It's a little friendly. It's a little stroll in the park. And
I think the word you're looking for, Marc, is soft.
It's a little soft.
Soft.
It's a little soft, Diesel. And if I may, I thought the atmosphere for last year's Palmetto Bowl was a little bit embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Full stop. South Carolina's hanging in the game. Fans aren't paying attention. Fans are on their phone. The stadium scoreboard operator is playing Beach Boys music. It's like, guys, do you see the score here? This is not Clemson, South Carolina 3. It's Clemson 40, South Carolina 3. This is a really close game. This is a very, very competitive game.
They should rip off another thing from LSU and play neck.
See what I'm saying? But Diesel, it's the whole vibe of at LSU, you're not in a children's environment, right? You are in an adult environment. You are in a dangerous environment. Clemson's Death Valley hasn't felt anything like that at all. So LSU has the real Death Valley. You guys are being challenged to make your own Death Valley something special, something to be feared. But most importantly, what do you want us to do, Marc, Ryan? What do you want from us? Bring the intensity. Make it intense. Make it hostile. There's nothing wrong with a little healthy fear of going into a place, of going into a building. And I think for whatever reason, over the last 3 or 4 years, Clemson has lost that a little bit. You know, and I have to be the bearer of bad tidings to you here. I have to be honest with you. I don't think Clemson's home field advantage has what Florida does at the Swamp, what LSU does, what Alabama does at Bryant-Denny Stadium. I don't think they have it. You know, what am I calling you less of fans? I'm just saying your home field advantage isn't where it needs to be. I have issued the challenge to you, okay? Please do me a favor. Tell all of your Clemson friends what I'm saying. The atmosphere at Death Valley is lacking, has been lacking. It is up to you guys to pick up the slack. That is the challenge that I'm issuing to you. Because what I saw last year for the Palmetto Bowl was an embarrassment. Lackadaisical, beachy vibe, no one concerned, very aloof, very arrogant, and then South Carolina came and took your sack right in front of your face. They came and ripped it right away from you. Diesel, I
didn't get to that. What was it? 39 games. What was the streak at the time?
I want to say it was 39.
Yeah, you don't get to 39, 40 game win streak by being soft for the first 38. Clemson had a great home field advantage, had great fan support, and then you got used to winning. You know, you think about that, Mark, though, there's a generation of students who never lost at home. Over a couple of years, they over their entire college careers, never lost at home. They don't know what it feels like to lose at home.
Last week when you were out, Diesel, we played a clip from Dabo Swinney, a rare behind-the-scenes look, and he said, if you guys don't win the national championship this year, you're going to be the first class since 2013 that didn't win a national championship. Don't let that be you. I've never heard Dabo maybe, and it was like he was speaking to his team, and it's different than how he speaks to the media, right? But he's like, don't be the first class that doesn't win a national championship since 2013, okay? That's going to be you if you guys don't do it. So Dabo senses the urgency, right? Where is your urgency as the fans? Where is your urgency? What are you going to do to make Death Valley deserving of the name? Because it isn't right now. It's way too friendly. It's way too chill, way too relaxed. Death Valley is a Sunday afternoon picnic. And that's not me saying it's easy to win there, but it's not hostile. See what I'm saying? Like, you have to create a hostile environment. That's up to you. What are you going to do to make it happen?
Furman's going to try to create a hostile environment when they host Tennessee Tech Thursday night, and you could be a part of making that environment hostile. You could win 2 tickets to go see Furman Tennessee Tech Thursday night, 7 o'clock kickoff from us when we come back here on the other side. Plus, you have a chance to win a pretty sweet upgrade, man. Furman goes big. Mark, you and I have been backstage and in these Furman VIP areas, man, they go all out. Nice. You could win that pregame field access, a parking pass, video board recognition, and 4 club passes. That could be yours. We're giving them away next here on Offsides. Division I college football is back in the Upstate, and you could be there live, in person, seeing it. Thursday night, Furman Paladins taking on Tennessee Tech right there on campus in Travelers Rest, 7 p.m. kickoff. And we want to send you to the game. We want to put you right there in the stands for the number 3 Furman Paladins home opener. Not only that, we're going to give you a chance to win the grand prize, which is a parking pass, pregame on-field access, and 4 club passes. Because Furman is the number 3 team in the country right now, I want to take the third caller, 844-326-3663, 844-FAN phone, the third caller right now. Going to score 2 tickets to go see Furman, Tennessee Tech, Thursday night at 7.
There you go. Well, who are you going to be the one to get the tickets, man? There you go. We will see if you, in fact, get this in, if you, in fact, win the deal. All right, my friends, let's get caught up on all that you guys are sending in on the show today. It looks like, Diesel, that can you respond, Diesel, on the YouTube chat to JD? It looks like he's upset about something. He tried to call in, and Delvin got in first. JD, we can't apologize for that. And I think JD is upset. We always care about our P1 listeners here. But if you guys could see what our text screen looks like, if we sat here and read every single text that came in, it would be a bad radio show. You guys are coming here to hear content. We don't just sit here and read every single text that comes in, right? So, look, we appreciate your participation, but we can't promise you, right, on a very popular show that we can get to every single text all the time, or that when you call in, you're going to be first. We can't make that promise, okay? Nor should that ever be your expectation. Let's see what we got here on the carpro.com text line. Let's see here. Mongo goes Florida over Utah, 4.5 points. Let's see here. Matt Scott says Texas over Cal by 7 points. Bo says Akron plus 9.5 over Temple. Let's see here. John G says, give me Colorado State plus 11 over Washington State. Sherb says Toledo plus 9.5 over Illinois. Michigan J. Todd. Let's see here. North Texas over Cal. Logan Simpson goes Boise State over Washington, minus 14 points. Michigan J. Todd says it's going to be 100 degrees in North Texas on Saturday. Yeah. How is Cal going to do there?
Pretty sure it gets hot in California too.
Texter says, yeah. Do we lose points for not picking correctly? When do we enter our picks this week? You enter your picks each week today. Okay. You can also enter them tomorrow or Friday, but I highly recommend you do so today to make sure you do not forget. All right. About 95% of those who participate in this enter their picks today, right? Out of a courtesy, I also go back and look Thursday and Friday for you guys, but I'd really appreciate everyone getting them in as close to today as possible, right? And yes, it is. We do the segments on the upset picks every single Wednesday. Chris Arnett says, give me North Texas over Cal. Justin Addis says, give me Nebraska plus 7 over Minnesota. That's Delvin's pick. Coach AJ says, give me San Jose State over Oregon State. Oregon State is a preseason top 25 team, minus 16.5. Boilermaker Drew is taking Fresno State over Purdue, 3.5 points. Dead Sexy takes Georgia Tech, but you didn't give us the whole game, Roger C. Like who is Georgia Tech playing? Oh, they're playing Louisville, but you didn't put that in there. Please, guys, we need your name, we need your game, and we need the spread. Also, make sure fan is the first word of your text, okay? So your text will read, fan, give me Georgia Tech plus 7.5 over Louisville, Roger C. That's how you text in. Okay. UCLA versus Coastal Carolina. Texter D Dollar is taking Coastal Carolina. Mater is taking the Gators over Utah, plus 4.5 points. Colin from the Garden is taking the Gators plus 4.5. Trendy pick. How come I'm not on this? Buckeye Brian says, give me Colorado plus 20.5 over TCU, the Dion effect. John Rhodes is taking Coastal Carolina, getting 14.5 over UCLA. Who knew? Who knew? Dan B is taking Northwestern plus 6.5 over who, Dan B? Over who? Let's see here. Boise State. This is Gold Rush is taking Boise State plus 14 over Washington. And then we've got Buckeye Brian. How do I watch the show live on YouTube? All you do, Buckeye Brian, on your TV, on your smartphone, right? Open your YouTube app and just type in the Fan Upstate. You will see us right there doing the show live for you on YouTube. And we do the live video stream every single day from 3 p.m. until 5:20 p.m. Let's see here. Texter says, give me Colorado plus 20.5 over TCU. So says Brandon is where you can get the show, where you his picks are for the Upset Picks Challenge. And now it's time for you guys to get in your picks as well. Folks, it is that time. It is that time. It is going to be a ton of fun. It is your segment to look like the smartest guy in the room. It is your chance to do just that. Roger Carper now coming in. Georgia Tech plus 7.5 over Louisville is where the pick is today. And folks, here we go. It's going to be an incredible amount of fun as we roll on here with the contest. Yeah, so Diesel, fair or foul, onsides or offsides? Me saying that Clemson needs to step up their game in terms of the home field advantage.
It's completely it's completely onsides. Clemson home environment got soft. It really, really did. And it here's how you know it's soft, Mark, is we're telling Tiger fans that they're soft and no one's calling in to challenge it. No one has said, you're wrong. It's intense. You should be where I'm at. It's intense. We get after them. We're screaming at the opposing team all game long. No one has challenged you on this.
And furthermore, we got this from a Gamecock. You're 100% right on Death Valley, Mark. Lifelong Gamecock here. 2000 Carolina-Clemson game, the push-off, was one of the best atmospheres I've ever been to. 2022 felt like the Clemson fans thought the result was a foregone conclusion, and they were just waiting for Clemson to do the inevitable. Clemson Memorial Stadium 20 to 25 years ago was so intimidating. Not the case anymore. If you are a Clemson fan, what are you going to do about that? Because we are issuing the challenge. Bring the death back to the Valley. All right? It feels far too much like a picnic. I've even gone to Death Valley as the opposition. Last year I went as a Furman fan, wearing Furman gear, purple hat, purple shirt, etc. I went. And you know what I encountered? Hey, welcome to Death Valley. Hey, welcome to Memorial Stadium. We hope you guys enjoy your stay.
You know what's funny about
welcome. That? Yeah, that's what I got 10 times over.
The funny thing about that, Mark, is when I visited Michigan Stadium as a visiting fan, I got the exact same treatment from those fans. Hey, guys, App State, where is that? Come over here. Have some food. Have some drinks. Hang out with us for a little bit. Let's talk.
Then all your invitations went away after the game, right?
Real fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the mindset that the fans had, and they were number 5 in the country that game.
And
so they got beat. And they lost their edge. That stadium seemed as if it had lost their edge.
Do not let that happen to you. The challenge has been issued. This has got to be the season where you take Death Valley back. We've got the top 5 at 5 coming your way next, right here on the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate. It's Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate, rolling on until 7 o'clock p.m. today. Weather permitting, we'll be heading out to Simpsonville later this evening. Yours truly, the wifey, the kiddo, to see Three Doors Down and Candlebox. Is it? I want to say. Yeah, we'll be heading out there later tonight. Guys, football season is here. The Gators play tomorrow. The Upset Picks contest is live. And it is time for us, my friends, to do that jam. We call it the Top 5 at 5. The top 5 biggest sports stories of the day. The top 5 topics we're discussing. Ladies and gentlemen of the Upstate, Offsiders, the Top 5 at 5 starts right now.
And now, the Top 5 at 5.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hit it!
5.
So, Diesel, I was wondering, this is, again, an example of me bringing an off-air conversation on the air. I was wondering if you remember the last encounter we had with Brad Crawford of 24/7 Sports, right? It was kind of testing, right? You remember that? That little encounter with Brad Crawford.
Yeah.
So today, I got a text from Brad.
Oh.
And he goes, hey, Marc, I know you love this thing that we do every year, and I wanted you to have it. I'll be watching week 1 from the delivery room as we await for number 3. So, of course, I'm like, oh, okay. So we are still on speaking terms. I didn't know how much, feelings were hurt on either side from the back and forth that we had about Shane Beamer about a month ago. But Brad Crawford extending the olive branch today with, honestly, folks, this is one of my favorite things of the year. It is the total talent composite from 24/7 Sports. And here's what this means. It ranks every roster in America on talent based on the star rankings of these guys coming out of high school. It's not just one class. It is the 4 classes that are making up this year's team. Okay? And so they look at, the 2019 class, 2020 class, 21 class, and 2022 class. They're all part of this year's team, right? And so you get to see, at least talent-wise, who's got the best teams in America. And I love this every single year because it allows you to see, okay, whose program is in the right shape, who's overachieving, who's underachieving, who needs to do better with what they've got, who's getting more out of less, who's getting less out of more. As an example, Appalachian State has the 83rd ranked talent in America. Coastal Carolina is 84th. Appalachian State has 1 4-star on the roster. Coastal Carolina has 2. All right, we move up the rankings here. Who do you want to know? Total composite score. Vanderbilt is 57th in total talent. Now you know why they don't win in the SEC. Cal is 45th. Georgia Tech is 36th. Colorado, surprisingly, up to number 35 on the list. Why do so many people have Florida upsetting Utah? Maybe this is why. Total talent, Florida is 15th. Utah is 33rd. Yeah, but see, Utah has a great home field advantage. Unbelievable head coach, unbelievable system. Now to the top 25. UCLA is 25. Missouri's 24. Ole Miss is 23. The Gamecocks come in at number 22. Another reason why I'm not overly sold on Florida State. They're number 20 on this list. Florida is 15th. Miami is 12th. I don't just want to read a list, folks, but I'll give you the 10 most talented teams in America. 10 Oregon, 9 Oklahoma, 8 USC, 7 LSU, 6 Texas, 5 your Clemson Tigers, 4 Texas A&M, 3 Ohio State, 2 Georgia, and 1 Alabama. Alabama, Georgia, 1 and 2, Ohio State, 3, A&M, 4, Clemson, 5 on the total talent composite. I love this article each and every year. Next up.
4.
If you are a Clemson fan, I've given you both good and bad news today. let's start with the good news first. If somebody says I've got good and bad news for you, which do you usually grab first, right? The good news is that I've got you back in the CFP this year. All right. We had Kelley Ford on earlier today. He said most likely record for Clemson is 10-2. He also said they're favored in every single game. I think Clemson goes 11-1 or 12-0. I could see them losing at home to Notre Dame, but not to Florida State. I could see them losing a road game at NC State, at Miami, or at South Carolina. Right? But I think all told, they only drop one. They win the ACC championship, and they make it to the college football playoff as a 12-1, one-loss team. Kelley Ford says Clemson has a 24% chance to do that. ESPN's Football Power Index says that Clemson has a 25% chance to do just that. So what say you guys? I've got Clemson back officially in the college football playoff this year. Where do you guys come out on this and why? 71307 on the carpro.com text line is where you can get to us. By the way, that number, 25% chance to get to the CFP. Those are the fourth best odds according to ESPN's Football Power Index. How many teams make the college football playoff? 4. You've got the fourth best odds. Just ahead of Texas, just ahead of Notre Dame. Notre Dame's odds have already changed, and they've already won a contest to speak of. Those teams with the 3 best odds, Ohio State, 70% chance, 70% chance to make the CFP. Alabama, 55%. Georgia, 50% to make the CFP. Next up,
3.
At number 3. Well, how about you be caller number 3 right now? Because if you are caller number 3 at 844-FAN-PHONE, that's 844-326-3663, you're going to have a chance to win something awesome. Diesel, tell us about it. What can they win?
Yeah, you can win 2 tickets today, right here, right now, to see Furman versus Tennessee Tech Thursday night at 7 o'clock. That is the number 3 in the country, Furman Paladins, hosting Tennessee Tech from Travelers Rest, their campus right up the road. It's especially important if you're a Gamecock fan. You get a chance to go and scout Furman, maybe learn a little bit about Furman before you watch them play your team in week number 2. And you'll be entered into the grand prize, which is a parking pass, pregame on-field access, video board recognition, and 4 club passes. Call 844-326-3663. Caller number 3 is going to win these tickets.
There you go. Who is it going to be, my friends? Call in right now, 844-326-3663. All right. And next up,
2.
At number 2, I have issued a challenge for you if you are a Clemson fan. Okay? Look, I gave you the good news. I think Clemson is going to make the CFP. Now here's the bad news. Your home field advantage has gotten soft. It has gotten soft. It feels way too much like a picnic. All right? You shouldn't have the right to call your stadium Death Valley if it's so darn friendly, if it's so darn laissez-faire, if it's so darn comfortable to be there. There's nothing about the Death Valley experience these days that feels hostile. You know, and when South Carolina beats you, you let them march all over your field. You let your rival rush your field. You know, the reason why LSU is the real Death Valley is because it's actually intimidating to play there. I was in the Florida band. They rocked our bus so much we thought they were going to tip it over. They mooned our bus. They tore down the goalpost when they beat us, and they tried to ram it into the band. There are fights in the stands. And, oh, by the way, I got a cup of bodily fluid dumped on my head. Okay? Like, there is the fear of death when you go to that Death Valley. I'm not saying you need to beat people up. I'm not saying you actually need to scare anybody, but it should feel tough to play there, right? The only thing tough of playing at Clemson is the team that you're playing against. The crowd, the fans, the environment, very blasé, very easy, breezy, beautiful cover girl. It's time for you Clemson fans to step it up. Take Death Valley back. once again make Death Valley an intimidating place to play. And finally,
1.
at number 1, my friends, it is the upset pick contest of the week. All right, of the season. And it is ongoing, and it is now underway. All right, that's right. Diesel is taking South Alabama over Tulane. Tulane's favored by 6.5 points. I am taking North Texas at home, hosting Cal. Justin Wilcox, the Cal head coach, is on the hot seat. Cal is kind of a nomad. They're kind of homeless. What conference are they going to be in long term? It's going to be 100 degrees in Denton, Texas, north of Dallas. It's going to be mean. Give me the mean green of North Texas over Cal in the Power 5. The line is Cal -7 right there. But it's time for you to get your upset picks in. All right? It is our upset pick challenge for you. All you got to do is call us or text us your upset pick of the week. And here's how the scoring works. You pick a game, you pick an underdog to win a college football game. All right? It has to be at least a 3-point underdog. So let's say you took Florida over Utah. Florida's about a 5-point underdog at Utah. If Florida wins the game, you get the number of points that they're an underdog added to your score. So you get about 5 points added to your score if Florida wins because they are a 5-point underdog. All right? All you got to do is text us to 71307 on the carpro.com text line. Text us. Start your text with the word fan, okay? So you're going to open your phone, bring up the text screen. You're going to type in 71307. That's the number to text to. Then you're going to hit enter. The first word of your text is going to be fan. So your text will read fan, Florida +5 over Utah, and then give us your name. We will log that in our standings. Get all of your upset picks in right now, my friends. The response to this in the first couple hours of the show has been massive. Has been massive, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I could faintly hear Diesel doing that, and I felt so bad for like the caller 1 and the caller 2. I heard Diesel have to say, hey, you're caller 1, man, please try again. Hey, you're caller 2, please try again. It was caller 3 who won it. You feel for him. You feel for him. You do. It most certainly does. All right, my friends, and those are today's top 5 at 5. Now it's your chance to chime in, which you can do at 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-FANFONE. That's 844-326-3663. The carpro.com text line is there for you at 71307. Just start your text with the word fan, and away you go. You can get to us on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube at the Fan Upstate on each one. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just open your YouTube app, go to the Fan Upstate, hit that little red subscribe button. We would appreciate it so much. And then finally, email. You guys can all email the show. Marc Ryan, that is MARC Ryan at thefanupstate.com. All the different ways you can get in touch with us here on the most interactive sports radio show anywhere.
I want to give you a chance to respond to this, Mark. Kelly McDougald on our Facebook page says, in response to Clemson fans having lost their edge, the podcast that is up there right now for you to listen to, she says having more than one night game per year would help. Do you think that the atmosphere would be nastier, meaner, more aggressive if they had more night games?
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah.
Only one since when?
I don't know. I'm just quoting her. Having more than one night game would help.
Yeah, like it would. I mean, night games are hostile environments. You know, like the night scene streaming into Death Valley, everybody running down the hill. There's something magical of that. This isn't a, one fix fixes the whole thing, guys. This is when you get to the point where you've lost your home field advantage and you've lost what makes the Valley Death Valley. There's multiple factors involved in that. That could be one of them. A spoiled, entitled fan base could be another one, right? LSU's Death Valley is intimidating. Clemson's Death Valley is a walk in the park. And I'm not saying it's easy to win there, but you're not in any way intimidated going there as a rival fan. You know, Tiger Pal Rachel tweeted into the show to me, and she says, Marc, as a fan of both Clemson and Furman, hence Tiger Pal, Furman is the little brother Clemson likes. They're always nice to Furman fans. Rachel, that's my only experience going as the enemy. And, hey, how are you guys? Welcome to Death Valley. We hope you enjoy your stay. Would you like a beer? Would you like a brat? That's not what an opponent should be feeling like. An opponent should be feeling like, oh boy, do we want to go in here? I know we bought tickets, but I'm not sure we want to. This feels kind of sketch.
Yeah, we got a texter here who says, Marc, it's called being a Clemson man or a Clemson woman, having class. And what you said about LSU, big difference. Memorial Stadium is an honor. The script reads, where our opponents come to die, not our opponents' fans. Please see our home record. Enough said.
Where is this text, Diesel?
It's the third or fourth one down at this point.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I see. But it's not an intimidating place to play, Texter. You know,
you've out-talented everybody in a weak conference for a long time, and you haven't played that many big, challenging opponents at home over that 40-game win streak. That's what he's trying to say.
All right, coming up next, we will give you our local predictions for 2023, the college football season. We got Truth Serum coming your way at 5:40 p.m. This is the most interactive sports talk show anywhere. It's Offsides. Marc, Ryan, and Diesel, and we are the Fan Upstate. Oh, yeah.
We're there's no read here.
I know. We're saying bye.
Yeah. Stream, thank you again so much for making this thing big. I know we saw double digits for the most part of the show. That's great. You know your charge though. Keep getting people in here. Keep inviting new people to come and watch the stream. Who was it? Roger? Was it Roger Carper was the first one? First time today. I think he texted into the show and said, hey, how do I watch the stream on YouTube? So if today was your first time, Roger, appreciate you. Hey, Marcus Powers, you're new here too as well. I don't think I've seen your name on the list before. Guys, it's great every single day. We say it after every show. Thank you so much for being here because it really does mean a lot. Those of you who are here every day, Madcraft, Dan B, JD, all you guys who are here every single day, we appreciate it so much. We really, really do.
Guys, a little tough love from me to you guys, okay? This will sound like it's coming at JD, but really it's to everybody. Part of what makes a show popular, right? When you've got a popular show is the efforts from you guys to get it there, which we're incredibly grateful for. But part of that means that we may not get to everything that you send in. You know, it would actually be bad radio if we did, right? So, you know, whereas it's our intention to get to most of the texts that come in, whereas it's our intention to get to every call that comes in, we can't promise that you're going to have your text read.
And sometimes I get up and go to the bathroom and miss an incoming phone call, which just means try again.
Yeah, we're not, you know, like we didn't do something wrong if we didn't get to your text, right? We've got a rocking show. You guys are a part of making that a rocking show, okay? So, like, you know, let's try not to get the panties in a twist and keep rocking and rolling with the show, okay? As we do day in and day out. And we please know how genuinely we truly appreciate all your participation. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
And thank you, Tyler Busby. First time on the stream today. I wanted to get that in there as well. Thanks, guys.